for the purpose of protecting the legislature in this country. The issue of punishment of members, Mr. Speaker, it is not unique to this country. Even in other developed democracies like UK and US, decisions of this nature have been made. But we've never had a member going to court and getting injunction and just walking in as if nothing was done by the other members. It is disrespectful, it is intrusion into the powers of Parliament, and Mr. Speaker, we request that a proper decision, a proper communication be made on this matter so that we protect the integrity of Parliament.
Well, Senator Cheptumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to say the following, Mr. Speaker. One, that the only person who has the benefit of the contents of that decision is yourself. No member in this House, Mr. Speaker, has had a chance to read that particular judgment or decision of the High Court. Mr. Speaker, we are happy as a House that you are a lawyer. Not just a lawyer, but a lawyer with a high number of standing before our judicial system. So that, Mr. Speaker, this House and the National Assembly, I think for the first time now, not for the first time, even in addition to the other speakers, will benefit from your experience, Mr. Speaker, on some of these matters. Mr. Speaker, when you made a pronouncement today, some few minutes ago, I had the feeling that you satisfied yourself as our speaker, that reading the ruling in the judgment of the court, you were satisfied that was proper for Senator Gloria to be in the House. But, Mr. Speaker, it is a house of debate. It's a house of order. It's a house where we borrow from previous rulings from the House, from the Speaker, and so on. Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in saying that perhaps it's an issue where it may be necessary for you as a Speaker to avail also that particular ruling, so that these members, Mr. Speaker, will be able to have a chance. And even those who members of this House with a legal mind can be able to apply their minds to this. Mr. Speaker, sir, this House was heard by Kenyans when the debate was ongoing on the motion that was brought before this House. And the same public, Mr. Speaker, should also be informed as to the reason why Senator Gloria finally came. Mr. Speaker, nobody should in any way, directly or indirectly, deny our colleague Senator Gloria the benefit of the judicial system in this country. So that, Mr. Speaker, if it is truly pursued within the framework of the law and also our procedure here, then she will enjoy the benefit of the law. And, Mr. Speaker, it's a house that we need to be careful so that, Mr. Speaker, our reputation as a house in this Senate will be recognized by our citizens, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you look at Article 159, as I conclude, it talks about judicial authority. Judicial authority is derived from the people and vested in and shall be exercised by the courts and tribunals established by or under the Constitution. Sub-Article 2, Mr. Speaker, says, in exercising judicial authority, the courts and tribunals shall be guided by the following principles. Justice shall be done to all, irrespective of status. Mr. Speaker, that is the principle set in Article 159 that justice shall be done to all, including Senator Gloria, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it is an issue that we need as a House to canvass, so that, Mr. Speaker, even when we have a similar situation tomorrow, we'll have something to refer to. And so, Mr. Speaker, I have a lot of faith in the House, in your leadership, and this should not be used to diminish the value, the status of this House, Mr. Speaker. So I want to join my colleagues in saying it may be necessary, Mr. Speaker, for you as our leader, as a legal mind, to spend time and be able to allow us to benefit from the contents of the judgment. Because members are asking, it was directed to who? We have received the pleadings. Who was sued? Who was the defendant? We know the plaintiff was Gloria. Who are the defendants, the parties in that suit, Mr. Speaker? Because normally, orders are directed to the plaintiff in a particular case. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Lastly, Senator Mungatana, and then I'll give you directive.
Mr. Speaker, mine was just to agree that, Mr. Speaker, you need to give us a well-reasoned ruling so that it can form part and parcel of the record of the House, a considered judgment, so to speak. And I won't take long. I just wanted to ask, and for those of us who are legal minds here, and when maybe you will consider this as you sit down to write your ruling, is a conservatory order given to maintain the status quo, or is it given to maintain the status quo ante? What was the status quo when the High Court was approached? Now, if the status quo was that there is a decision of the Senate, can the High Court use its powers to issue conservatory orders not to maintain the status quo, but to revert to status quo ante without the benefit of, inter partes hearing? Can it be done ex parte? So we want that to, maybe you can consider those issues as you write your considered ruling to guide us. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Lastly, Senator Mazayo. Senator Mazayo.
Asante Bwana Spika, nitajaribu kuongea kwa lugha ambayo itaeleweka Kiswahili. Bwana Spika, kulikuwa na uamuzi wa muda uliofanywa, na uamuzi huu ulikuja hapa ukajadiliwa. Bwana Spika, uamuzi huu haukuwa wako, bali ulikuwa uamuzi ambao uliuleta hapa na bunge la Seneti likachukua uamuzi ule kama wao. Bwana Spika, maseneta wote waliokuwa hapa siku hiyo walijadiliana kama bunge la Senate, na hatimaye mwisho waliweza kupiga kura na kuona ya kwamba ni sawa. Hatua iliyotaka kuchukuliwa ilichukuliwa kulinganishana na ripoti iliyokuwa imeandikwa na Committee ya Powers and Privileges. Bwana Spika, uamuzi huo ulifanywa na bunge la Senate, haukufanywa tena na Committee ya Powers and Privileges, bali bunge lenyewe. Kwa hiyo kama kuna kitengo chochote ambacho kinaweza kugeuza uamuzi wa bunge la Senate, ni Senate yenyewe ikae igeuze uamuzi wake ule uliofanya, lakini sio kamati nyingine iweze kukaa mahali na igeuze uamuzi uliofanywa na bunge la Senate. Hisia yangu ni kwamba, Bwana Spika, ingekuwa vyema ikiwa tutaona ya kwamba uamuzi utakaokuwa ukifanywa na Senate unaheshimiwa na kila mtu, ili bunge hili tusilivue heshima yake na tuliwekee heshima ili liweze kuheshimiwa na Wakenya wote. Bwana Spika, mimi naona kwa maoni yangu ingekuwa bora anayehusika katika hii aweze kuambiwa ajitoe nje, alafu bunge hili likae liweze kujadiliana na kuona kwamba hatua ya hii bunge ndio imechukuliwa, ili kuregea ama kutoregea iwe ni hatua ya hili bunge. Asante Bwana Spika.
Yes, Senator Kathuri, let us dispense with this matter. We have more important matters to deal with that affect
Honorable Speaker, I wanted to maybe to ask whether you have CVs for the senators on your desk, because